All right, so let's download the file. Oh, wait, it's in resources, isn't it? Navigation exercises. All right. Extract all. And let's see if I see what you guys are seeing. Okay, it's in downloads, navigation exercises. All right, fine. I'll just see if I can find that with Unity. Okay, open. Okay, that's what we get. All right. All right, so for good or for bad, whatever, I'd just like to, if we can dispense with this quickly, great. If not, if I can at least see the problem, I can go away and work on it. The task for today, or this week rather, is mostly going to be particle systems, possibly with the addition of decals. I covered decals last year, but I wasn't very happy with it, and I went off looking for better software to use this time. And I'm not sure if I can find anything good. But if I can, we'll also cover decals. Well, at the minimum, we will talk about decals. Wow, this is really lengthy, isn't it? And there's not much going on in that file at all, except for a bunch of real simple geometry. Maybe that's ominous. Oh, you know what may be going on? It could be the Blender import issue. Because I saw something .blend go by there, so it could be that we have to solve that problem. Let's see. No. Yeah, why? And what do you guys see? Seeing? Yeah. Oh, so it's just the colors you're missing? Just the materials? Oh. So like for this one, the plane and the cylinder and nothing else is showing up. Now why would that be? So those are Blender objects. I don't remember patching my... Have you guys done the workaround that Thomas found and I sent out to you guys a couple weeks ago? You guys have done that?
Yeah, before with having that issue. Then I actually got the error, error in importing the Blender files.
Uh-huh.
So I went through, did the patch, and tried it afterward, and still didn't work.
That's so strange. Okay.
See the stairs like this. Everything that's in the hierarchy is there.
Yeah.
But when you click on it, it's
The geometry.
Let me just...
yeah, like it's not
There's something weird about the mesh filter. Let me do it the same place on mine so we can compare. Yeah, so I hate to take class time for this, but if I can't reproduce it, I don't have good odds to pick. All right. So you see, I got stairs mesh filter, and you've got none mesh filter. What's the deal with that? Option. Stairs mesh. God knows. I'll go and see what options I have. Right up there. Yeah, I mean, here it is. All right, but it is a blend file. You can see that down here. So that cannot be a coincidence. All right, I'll have to give it some thought. Sorry about that. All right. All right. Okay, so what we want to talk about today is particle systems, right? So as I said before, these are this is the type of system that's used to kind of mock up, some kind of fakery, but then again, like what in computer graphics isn't fakery at some level, right? I mean, what in modeling and simulation isn't fakery at some level? We're getting closer to the reality, or further back from the reality. We're never there. This is pretty far away from the reality. This is mostly just kind of a good visual effect that gives a good feeling while being, quite far from something that would physically be like one of the many things you do with a particle system. So again, a reminder: smoke, fire, water, blood, cartridge casings, almost you name it. Any kind of like little object in the scene that adds flavor. Oh, leaves floating down from the sky, dust in the air, bubbles in the water. Okay, there's no end to it. It's really one of these Swiss Army knife tools that has its uses are only limited by your creativity. So hopefully what we'll do at the end of this is give you a decent theoretical view of them and a whole lot of practical knowledge that will let you deal with them. Okay, now if you go into the standard asset particle demo over here and turn that on, you will see way too many particle systems at one time here. This is kind of, this is a whole set of them that I pulled out of the standard asset file just because it's kind of a pain getting out of there, so I decided to make it easier for you guys. Let's see, so you saw there was actually a little fire there. For whatever reason, it goes off after a while. I'm not sure why the explosion seems to leave a glowy patch on the ground. Don't ask me. We've got up the flare over here. We've got a dust storm going on everywhere, an afterburner kind of effect over here. You can see it through the fog. There is both white and black smoke. If I start it up again, let's start it up again, because I think the white and black smoke must also be on a timer because they're gone. So the black smoke's called smoke and the white smoke's called steam. Okay, and then you got the fire, and oh, here's water. So we can get the other element in there too, right? And that fire's just on a timer. So if you're patient and steam water, then it'll look like it's going out because of the water. But of course, nothing of the kind is happening. Okay. So those are some good examples of effects that were put together by professional artists. Yours won't be so nice, almost certainly, unless you really want to work at it. But we'll at least get you through all the mechanics, and you'll get a chance to create some, because we'll ask you to. Okay. All right. So let's see what's good stuff to do with these. So. All those particle systems have prefabs for them down over here. Okay, I think maybe I took out most of the ones that are irrelevant, except for no fire complex. That's actually a good one too. Okay, I didn't point out the tire burnout smoke. That goes on the side over here. There was a wildfire that I could not get to work. Yes, these things. Again, standard assets, they're usually pretty good about updating them. You usually don't have a problem when you download them with them not working, but that one I couldn't get to work. If any of you is messing around with the full standard asset file and you can get the wildfire to work, I'd love to know how, because I could not figure it out. Okay. All right. What would be the best thing to do? Okay, let's look at the other example file so you can kind of see the whole of what we have here, and then we'll start digging in a bit. So the other thing I have here is this particle system zoo. Okay, so if you run this one, you can see a bunch of much more primitive particle systems, kind of arranged in some kind of order here. If you walk over, you can kind of see there's a gap. They kind of go all the way around the edge of this cube, but there's a gap. So if you kind of start and go around clockwise. So you can see this one here. Okay, you see the shape of that thing? You see how nothing's spawning in the middle, right? Okay, so there's one. You got another one. What could that be? You get another one. with this thing's winking in and out. And another one, similar. Here's one where we finally have some movement. So what do you see? Particles are coming in, they drift up, they disappear. All right? There's one over here. They're created, they drift up and disappear, but this time they're changing color, right? Track one with your eye as it goes up and verify. Yes, indeed, they're changing color over their lifetime. Okay? These are changing, let's see, so this one over here, these are fading out. See, as they go up, they get more and more transparent. It's not just that they're getting smaller, they're actually, these over here are getting more transparent. These over here are getting larger as they kind of grow as they age. Oh, here's some that have some physics, right? Kind of spray up, they go down, they bounce, they become still. Eventually, you notice they pop out of existence. These over here. Okay, so these, I'm not sure what's going on with those. Well, I think maybe what we're demonstrating is simply spinning. All right, they're not just kind of translating up, they're actually spinning. And these, you see, are doing like a full 3D spin. It's almost like a deck of playing cards thrown in the air there. All right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what actually happens under the hood with these particles. Okay. So the first thing to remember about particle systems is what a particle actually is. So what is it? Anyone know? What's one particle? I mean, in computer graphics language. Yes, in fact, it's just a quad. It's just really just a square with a texture on it. Okay? Now, you will notice that, so if you take this, when I move around here, right, it's not a normal quad. If they were normal quads, when I moved around, they should be disappearing, right? Because eventually I look at them on edge and they should be disappearing. That's not happening. Okay? So why is that? Because the quads are turning to face you. Okay? So quads that automatically turn to face you in every frame are often called billboards in graphics terminology. So these are billboards. Now, how much they turn to face you, even just that language, yeah, they turn to face you. Well, in what sense do they turn to face you? They are turning along the z-axis to face me, but they're not bending down, right, to become perpendicular to the ray that comes out of my eye. You probably could have that if you wanted it. Okay? All right. Okay, so a particle is just a billboard with a texture. What makes particle systems distinctive is that they get their representative power by using many, many, many of them. Okay, so these are actually almost like a negligible amount of particles. You could have many, many, many more. Okay, and by being very efficient with how they use their computational resources, and in particular, doing recycling. Okay, those particles were built like any other object. So you guys have created geometry at runtime, right? So they ask you to do it. Instantiate, right? That creates new geometry. That is a very heavyweight process. Now you have to find the original object. You have to create a new blank object. You go through all the constructors that are needed to actually build all that stuff up. It takes quite a lot of memory and quite a lot of processing time to build it up. Okay, if we had to do that with particle systems, they couldn't be used in the way that they are normally. We need to be much, much more efficient than that. So the way we get around constantly having to go through and invoke constructors is that we kind of pre-create all of these particles. You pick a buffer of a certain size, right, which should be at least as large as the maximum number of particles that you want, and you call the constructor one time when you're building the particle system, and then you never deallocate those particles. They might not be in the scene, they might not be active, but they're there ready to go when you need them. Okay? And then the way you use that buffer, most typically, is in a way that's called in computer science a ring buffer. So the idea with a ring buffer is that when you index along the buffer, and when you get to the end and there's no more, you loop back to the beginning, and on and on and on like that. Okay? So that gives the characteristic behavior that you see in particle systems. When you spawn more particle systems than the creator intended, what will happen is that when you come to the, so for example, if my first particle is still alive and in the scene, when I get to the end of the buffer and I loop back and I reuse that particle, what's going to happen? Well, the particle, wherever it was and whatever it was doing at that time is now gone because I reused that particle. It now appears as a new particle, so there's some kind of a popping effect that goes on there. Okay, so this is not, particle systems are not perfect. They're not perfect even in their limited way. Okay, they're just billboards to begin with, but that's not the end of their imperfection. There's also fakery going on because of the recycling. Okay, so those are the main things to know about particle systems theoretically. Okay, now next we can talk about how they're actually some additional language, at least one term that I can think of that you need to know. So this particle system right here, again, you can see that it's kind of ring-shaped, right? Okay. So particle systems generally have an abstraction that's called an emitter. So the particles are emitted from an emitter. Okay. And the emitter can have a shape, and you can usually specify things about the velocities of the particles. But here you see there's no velocity given to the particles, and it has a particular shape. It's actually like a donut kind of a shape, a torus. Okay, that's what we have right there. Now, I think at this point, let's get out of run mode, and then we can go. And you can see I have all the particle systems here in the scene, so you just double click on this one. That's not super helpful. There we go. I do it twice, but there you go. Okay, so let's take a little look. Okay, so particle systems. So in principle, the things that are always there, the particles themselves, the ring buffer that's pre-allocated, the emitter. These are kind of the constants that are kind of always there with particle systems. But as you might expect, now it's probably readily apparent that there are all kinds of different ways to use them, and so there are a whole lot of possible parameters that you might have to deal with when you're creating particles. An amazing number of parameters. Okay, and and in point of fact, it could be. We'll start. Here are a few of them coming up here. Okay, does that look like a lot? Okay, most of them are hidden down in here. Okay, so there's a whole lot, and you might get the impression that oh gosh, wow, that's amazing. Someone really thought about this a lot. So surely whatever I want to do, this will be sufficient. Well, actually no. At the end of the day, the fallback to creating your own code is like always there, and when you have a very specific need, expect to do that. Okay. Now, we're going to try to avoid doing that. So we are going to try to use these parameters. So we will start shortly, just going through them, and I'll try to call out the ones that seem interesting or more significant that because I know that they're more typically messed with than the other parameters, and we'll just kind of move through them like that, and that'll kind of be our coverage. Hopefully we'll get a chance to play with them as we go along. You can play with them on your own, and hopefully at the end of the day, after you've created a few for me for a week from Friday, you should be pretty comfortable with them. All right, so let's start. Let's just start with a simple particle system. What I want to do is make a new scene just to play around with. Let's again. So this is the Monday lecture. So I want to kind of go once over everything except the decals. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Let me go and create another scene for us to experiment with. All right. Okay, and then what we can do is you can go down into standard assets and into particle systems and into prefabs, and let's just grab a basic black smoke particle system. You can take that thing, you can drag it in here. Whoops, no you can't. Drag it into your scene. All right, and there you go. You see right away it starts running. All right, so let's talk about how you might actually use this thing in a scene. Okay, obviously, if your use for this is that you have a, I don't know, you have a some burning wreckage, and it's there when the scene starts, and it's there when the scene is done. It's just part of the more or less, what's going on in your scene at all times. Then your life is easy. You can just place this. Interesting to actually see. Actually, scaling particle systems. I have no idea how scalable these things are. Should we mess with that? Maybe we should. Just to see. I have no idea. Scaling could do just what I want, or it could do totally nothing here. I really have no idea. Yeah, there you go. It's nothing. Okay. Now there may be something in here where we can, for sure, we can mess with things, changing the parameters. But it isn't going to be as easy as just scaling it. But let's just say it's the right size. Okay, then it's just a normal asset. You drag it and you drop it. It's going to use more computation time than your a little cylinder representing the oil drum or something like that. But so be it. Okay, what would be the next more complicated thing? Okay, well, it's something that's actually maybe going to catch fire if the user does something, but it might not. So therefore, I've got to control it from code. Okay? So let's talk about how to do that. It's really easy. Let's go, and we're going to need a script. I could put it right on the particle system. Let me just make it free floating here. Because in general, you might not want to put it on the particle system. You might have the control code all grouped together somewhere else. So let's make this a script container. Doesn't mean anything, but that's what I expect to see. It's what I always call my script holders. Okay, and this will be, let's call this toggle smoke. All right, create it. Okay, and let's go over, as soon as this gets added, let's go and mess with the script and see if we can make it do the basic stuff with the particle system, like turning it on. Okay, so we want to do that in update. So again, I don't actually have a scene, I don't have shooting, I don't have explosions, I don't have anything that could actually start a fire. So let's just make it be a key press, right? You can say if input get key down. Okay, and let's make it. I don't know why I can get key down. Oh. I don't have an argument yet. All right. It's being very proactive. Key code dot space. Let's just use that to toggle the particle system's play, and we'll see what that does. Okay. So I'm gonna need to grab a hold of the particle system. So let's add a public member up here so I can easily link it in the Unity way. PS is the particle system. All right, so what we can say is, okay, we probably need to track if it's actually running, so we need a Boolean. And we'll start false. Okay, and then we'll let's see. So if space happens, we will change running to not running. So okay, we'll change it, and then we'll try to do the right thing to the particle system. So running equals not running. Okay, so I don't have the opposite value, and so now if it's been turned to running, we need to start the particle system playing. So how do we do that? PS, okay, if running, PS dot play, capital P play. That'll do it. Okay, and otherwise, then it must be not running. So we'll say ps.stop. Okay? That looks easy. It is easy. All right. Let's go here. What the script compiles, I'll have my slot for the particle system. Let's drag it in there. Okay, let's try run. Well, actually, let me get the camera. It'll be looking in the right place. Okay, so let's tell the camera to sync up with my view into the scene, align with view. There it is. Okay. Oh, let me do this. So I wanted the smoke to be off at the beginning. So how do we do that? Let me just. Actually, I was expecting to see it. I'm not seeing the parameter for it. Apparently, it has moved. All right, well, I may not get my wish. Okay, we're going to have to find that parameter. Oh, here it is, play on awake, way down here. Okay, it used to be on top. Okay, so see play on awake? If we want to turn it on, it's not supposed to be burning at the beginning, then we don't want play on awake. Okay, same with sounds, right? You guys are dealing with sounds as well. All right, so let's play. Okay. All right, so the particle system is presumably there, but it's off. Now if we hit the space bar, now you see what happens. Okay, let's hit the space bar again. Oh, actually, wow, it's just a puff of smoke, isn't it? All right, we got to fix that. So we have to get into the parameters a little earlier than I thought. Okay, let's see what the duration of this thing is. Okay, see this duration, 5? Let me actually know how to get an infinite duration. What happens if we make it 0? Let's see what happens. See if it'll just run forever, or maybe negative would be a signal to run forever. Or not, or maybe I just want a particle system that runs for 0 time. Apparently that's what I want. Okay, let me try a negative number. Oh, see, it made it 0.05. It's too smart for me. Yeah, okay, so that's not going to work. All right, well, then we'll just make it really long. I'm sure there's a way to do it better, but let's just get started. Okay, so let's go. Play. Okay, hit spacebar to get it started. Hit spacebar again, and okay, it's like the fire went out, right? Hit spacebar. Start producing smoke. Is it? What's going on? How come it's not working? Been destroyed, but I'm still trying to access it.
I had the same issue. For some reason, every time I add it to my script or add it to the scene and I connect it to the script, it will destroy it.
Huh. That's really odd. Yeah, stop normally does not mean destroy. Yeah. I've done this with other particle systems, and it's not a problem. Why are you giving me a problem? All right, so let's do this. I'm not sure. There's something funny about the smoke. Let's try this. Let's add in another particle system. Let's make a new one, okay? So you all are going to have to create your own particle system. So what happens if I'm not just trying to use a prefab? Okay, you go to Game Object, go into Effects, select Particle System. Okay, there you go. There's my new one. Okay, and let's take my script and let's drag the new one in there instead of the smoke. All right, so now the smoke will just do what it wants to do, and I don't even know what that's going to be. Hopefully it'll stand there and smoke forever. And now the space bar, maybe. We'll start up my particle system. No, it didn't. That's really weird. Stopping smoke here. All right, this is strange. Let me look at my code. Did I do something dumb? Yes, this is the particle system. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, my braces. Wait. No. Okay, I think I only want to run this logic at the bottom one time, not every frame. I think that's my mistake. Okay? You see I had this running every update, this logic, so it was going play, 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 and if it's not running, then it says stop, 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 stop. Maybe that triggered some bad behavior. Okay, let's try doing this instead. And I think we'll be happier. Well, yeah, let's try again. Again, we're not going to control the smoke. We're going to control the white particles. Maybe if it's working. All right. Except I'm surprised they're on already. Oh, probably because they were set to play on awake. Okay. So you can see the white particles, even though this is not exactly what I wanted, the white particles are produced when it's on. If I hit space again, no more are produced. The old ones just age and move out of the picture. Okay? So that would be perfect for, again, not sure why the smoke is being all fiddly. Let's take a look. Let's see. I mean, its duration is super long. It must have some special logic somewhere else. Well, you'll see. There's a lot. You'll understand by the time we get done why I don't know. Because there's a lot of parameters in these particle systems. Something somewhere is telling it to go away. So it's got a lot of stuff in it that I'm not entirely comfortable with. Okay, but before we worry about that, let me pull the smoke out of my scene. Miscreant particle system. Let me get out of here. All right. Okay. Now let me show you one more call that's sometimes useful. Good to know, but if nothing else, it's insightful. Okay, there's a call called clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that, since space is fully utilized doing the toggling here. Let's bind it to the C key, C for clear. Okay, and if we get the clear command, we will run the clear function. Particle system will be told to clear. What does that do? I guess let's turn this on. And it keeps. Okay, never mind. It's fine. If I hit the C key, look what happens. So it immediately gets rid of the particles in the scene. Right? But they're still being born. It doesn't stop it from playing. It's still playing. Okay? All right. Now I'm not sure what that's useful for, but I think it's kind of interesting, at least. Now our particle system, the one thing I did wrong with this, let's fix it. Just for practice. It's set to play on awake still. That must be the default thing. So let's turn it off. Okay. Now we should have the right behavior that I intended. Which should start off. Spacebar turns it on, spacebar turns it off, spacebar turns it on, C key clears whenever we want. Okay, we're all good. Okay, we're all together? All right. So it'll work just the same. Again, smoke, there's something weird going on with it, but it should work just the same pretty much. If you can find any weird parameter settings with anyone else's particle system that you would pull in and stick into your project. Okay. All right. Okay. So now that we have that basic stuff, let's see. What's the next thing to do? Let's look. Okay, since we cracked the hood on some of these parameters, let's spend some time with the parameters. So I think to get started, let's go back to the. I want to go back to the particle system zoo. Okay, we'll grab our donut particle system, and let's see if we can find out where is the magic that makes it a donut. Okay, again, the particles are spawned from an emitter, so it shouldn't be too shocking. That's in a category called emission here. You click under emission. Wait a minute. It only has the emission rate under emission. Where does it have the actual shape? So emitter shape has its own entry number. Okay, so here you see the first entry says donut. So there it is. That's where that's coming from. Okay, and there's a lot of different possibilities. Some of which we're going to see. Now this next one over here, this one says cone, but you see what they mean by cone. Okay, looking at this, so you should see what they mean. those particles are all spawning off in a plane, right? So what this really is it's a cone with the tip cut off, okay? And it's really the disc at the bottom, okay, where the knife intersects the cone where the particles are all being spawned. Okay, now if they had a velocity, they would tend to go up, and so you do kind of get a feeling of a cone shape once it starts. Okay, but that's kind of the default behavior, though if you were like, no, I really want the particles to be born over a cone shape, then I think you can go and somewhere in here, see, instead of emitting from the base, you can say, no, emit from the whole volume. Okay, you see how that changed? Now things are being born all over the cone. All right, go back to the base. All right. Okay, so here's one with a spherical emitter, right? That's the only change here. Here's one with a box emitter. Okay. All right. Now you should also. I haven't experimented with it a lot, but I would be very disappointed if there was any problem, for example, changing the dimensions of the box. Right. So maybe you have a car and kind of the whole back of it is on fire. Right. So you need smoke coming out the whole back of the thing. I would expect to be able to take that box and somehow reshape it to be as long as the width of the car, so I could get what I wanted. I'd be quite shocked if that's not possible. Okay. Now the next thing, if we go to the cone moving particle system. All right, so here we go. So again, this is a cone, but clearly the particles are moving. So what is the deal here? Okay, you notice on the kind of this little summary panel here that the speed range is from 3 to 3. Okay, so where's the speed set? Okay, so here it is right here. The starting speed is what's being set. Okay. Now you notice the starting speed is right up above the lifetime. The lifetime of the particles determines their full lifetime. And if you wanted the speed to actually change, like this particle should be getting slower as they get older, or maybe they're speeding up because something's speeding them up. There's a lot of different ways to affect that. From just kind of going in and specifically asking for it, velocity over lifetime might be your friend there, or you might decide you want your particles to be run by physics, okay, and so you would actually put forces on them, also possible. Okay, you got a lot of options here. All right, but let's kind of finish with the effects that are in the zoo. Let's go to the rainbow particle system. So here's the rainbow one. If you remember this one, you can't really tell from here, but the colors are changing over time. So let's see how that is done. Okay, you see there's a category here for color over lifetime. Okay, there you go. And you can go and you can set, I think I set the colors on both ends of this thing. Okay, see that? You can mess with the color on either end. Okay, there you go. Here's your color on that end. Here's the color on this end. And then, I'm not sure what those handles are for at the top. Okay, but you can set the color change. Now, why would you do that? Other than just to be psychedelic. Okay. What if the particles are supposed to be sparks? That's like a classic example, right? So they might be born white hot. Then you might want them to get yellow, orange, maybe dull red, maybe to black before they're finally culled out of the scene. Okay? So there might even be a way, I'm not actually sure, I'm clicking like mad in here and I'm not actually seeing anything, but I would hope that there would be a way to be able to control this with more than one sample without going to code to do it. Oh, now you see, this handle actually does change things. You see, it kind of determines how quickly the thing converts over to blue. All the way up. If I pull it completely off, it never converts to blue, and otherwise, like so. All right. Okay, so that's that. What else have we got in the zoo? Okay, so here we've got particles that are getting bigger over time. Okay, there we go. Again, special category. Size over lifetime. Okay, so even there you have some. Don't see how you. See, look at that. You can have it getting bigger at different rates or doing different things on X, Y, Z axis. But I don't actually see the controls for the curve. I mean, why is it? Huh. So where could that be? I would presume it exists somewhere. I mean, if not, you're pretty much just limited to a linear ramp up, unless you do something more drastic. But it's something, so. All right, what else have we got? We've got some particles with physics, maybe, but let's just show them. Yeah, you remember these guys? So that would actually be a good model for sparks coming off of something, or maybe for cartridge casings, something like that. Except they maybe should be tumblers or cartridge casings. Yeah, I mean, so, well, we have to talk about the actual material that's on there. Okay, so that's still, I don't know if we'll get to that today, but that's something I owe you. So you need to be able to put your own material on. I made that material. I gave it the shape of a white rectangle. That's why it looks like that. Okay. It's just for a demonstration. Okay, cone with 2D. Oh wait, actually the physics. Let's take a look. Okay, so what do we got here? Okay, we've got collision. Okay, so it collides. It can be set to collide with a plane. Yeah, be careful. So the particles you wouldn't want. A particle system is supposed to be very cheap per particle. So you wouldn't expect or want some kind of really elaborate physics. You want something that's kind of relatively quick and dirty. Otherwise, you'd be doing it some other way with actual objects rather than particles. Okay, if it was that important to your simulation. So you see, it's pretty limited here. You're pretty much just going to be able to give it a plane. You can mess with how much it bounces. You can mess with dampening. That's how quick the energy is lost when it impacts. You can have them killed, apparently, depending on speed. I'm not 100% sure what they're getting at there. Okay. Now, what I don't see here. So, I was thinking. Let's take a look. So so to apply forces to particles, that's like a separate object now, the way they have it. We maybe should play with that a little bit too. I don't actually. That's a new thing, and I don't actually know about it very much. I'm not doing that here. So this is using something more basic. Well, let's just take a look and see the settings up above. So what I've done is, if I remember right, there's a way to turn on gravity here. See this? Gravity modifier? Okay, so that's there. They were given a start speed here. Okay, so if I would have just stopped with that, they would have just kept going up. But I turned gravity on, so let's verify that's what's going on here. Let's turn it off. Gravity modifier 0. Yep, there they go, floating up. Okay, let's see what happens if we do it 0.5. Okay, there we go. They're coming down, but slower. Okay. So there you go. So this is relatively simple, but there is a thing. Let me just show you, so you can remind me if I forget to loop back. We should at least see what juice we can get out of it. If you look under game object effects, there is a particle system force field there. So that would be interesting to play with. So presumably we could have particles only if some of them get into the force field, they will get affected. Or You might want, I think for a lot of things, if you just wanted the particles, let's say, to be blown in the wind, right? Maybe they're leaves coming from a tree and they need to be blown in the wind. I think you can just kind of reorient the particle system as a whole so that the particles, instead of floating up in the sky, now are floating laterally. Or maybe you want a little bit up in the sky, but mostly lateral. Okay, so you tilt it down almost all the way to the plane, but not the whole way. Okay? So I think for things like that, where the effect is supposed to be the same across the scene, just kind of reorienting the particle system, messing with the normal parameters is probably good enough. But for something really special, it might be fun to play with the force fields. All right, what else do we have here? Okay, yeah, let's talk about the rotation. So this is 2D rotation. So again, what's going on here? The particles are going to face you, but now they're going to be rotating. Okay, so the facing, it's still going to be the same kind of facing. So the facing doesn't point down toward you or up toward you. It's just the facing normal stays in the plane. It's just that we're going to rotate the particles perpendicular to that. Okay, so it's a very special kind of effect. Okay, it does have some uses. And then over here, the 3D rotation. So this would be what we want. Again, this looks like a deck of cards thrown in the air, right? If I were going to do leaves, for example, this would be a great sort of thing. Yeah, you would be amazed. So again, particle systems, in my mind, for training simulations, are very much like audio. I would characterize both of those as effects. You can kind of do without it for a lot of things. But boy, it sure is better if you put it in. It just gives a much better feel. And for the amount of effort that it takes, and the computer has to work hard for particle systems, you sure know. So I consider it, kind of a necessary tool for you guys to know about, consider using. Okay, last but not least, 3D rotation. What made it 3D rotation? You see this checkbox here? 3D start rotation. The 3D start rotation just made it 3D rotation in general. And if you wanted to, I'm not even sure what exactly the start rotation. I guess they're all born at a particular angle. Are they all born at the same angle? Is that what? Yeah, they do actually kind of look like they're born at the same angle. All right. How much time have we got? Yeah, all right, maybe quickly, let's just take a look at the last one. So these are just fading out as they get older, these particles. Okay, so let's see how that is managed. Okay, you see it's being done, I think, with this color over lifetime. Okay, so let's take a look. Click here, double click here. All right, what's going on? What are my colors? From white to transparent. That's it. Yeah. If I look here, let's take a look and see how hard it is to find transparency. Actually, how do you get transparency? Well, that might be a thing I'd have to look for. I'm not seeing it here. I'm not seeing an alpha value. Any of you see it? It's set to red. And then, but we're in the upper left corner. So it's set to white. But it's clearly not white. It's clearly transparent. I'm not sure how you get that down. Yeah, we'd have to do a little bit of research to figure that out. Okay, any questions on this? I think that's pretty good once over the top coverage. And then next time we should dive into looking at how do you make your own texture and apply it, texture and make a material and get it in so we can make at least one particle system from A to Z ourselves. Another thing to do would be to play more with the standard asset particle systems, which, as you can see, are complicated to a degree where I don't even fully understand what's going on with them, but I know some things about them. Okay, so we can just try to think how we might use them and what the mechanics would be of using them. All right, that'll be for Wednesday. And then already, if I find a decal system I like, I will, again, we'll talk about it, but ideally I would like to have a decal system that you guys could use. That would really add a lot, I think, for our heating project, but I'm not happy yet. Okay? All right. That's it for today.